Hello everyone, hello Marlo. Today I'm going to be reading you another story out loud called Please, Please the Bees. It's a story about a bear who's not very grateful for all the honey he's getting, and the bees, they don't like it very much. They go on strike. They stop making the bear honey. Let's find out what happens to the bees and the bear. Please, please the bees. Please, please the bees by Gerald Kelly. Benedict was a creature of habit. He liked to do the same thing every day. Every morning he woke up at the same time. Every morning he stretched, he scratched, he yawned a great yawn. Every morning, the bees delivered 3 full jars of honey. Benedict ate the same breakfast he'd eaten ever since he was just a fuzzy cub, toast with honey and tea with extra honey. Next came his daily routine, practicing, perfecting his honey cake recipe, knitting, and running errands. At night he'd read, then have one last cup of honey tea before bed. Life was sweet. Until one morning things weren't the same. In fact, something terribly unsame had happened. There was no more honey. The bees had gone on strike. Oh no, the bees aren't making honey anymore? That's not good for the bear. Benedict's breakfast wasn't the same without honey. Without his honey tea, he couldn't knit. Practice was dreadful. He didn't even bother running his errands. Benedict became deeply discouraged. Just then he heard someone say, "Hey, you in the fur coat!" It was a very small bee with a remarkably loud voice. "We need to talk," said the bee. "Talk? Grumbled Benedict. "I let you all live in my yard. All I ask for is a few jars of honey. You should be grateful, not go on strikes." "Strike! A few jars," said the bee. "Buddy, we deliver 3 jars of honey to you every day, every month, every year. Do the math, Einstein." "The hive is a wreck," the bee continued. "It's all we can do to keep the walls from falling in. The roof leaks, wind blows through the cracks. The last 3 queens up and quit on us because of the lousy working conditions." The bee showed Benedict the garden. "Look," the bee said, "weeds everywhere. We have to fly miles away just to find enough flowers to make our honey, so we voted to strike." "You're taking us for granted," the bee declared. "You want honey? Things need to change. It's up to you, bear." And with that, the very small bee flew off. The thought of losing his honey sent chills down Benedict's spine. He had a lot to think about. "Maybe I've been too selfish," Benedict said to himself. "I never thought about what the bees need. How am I going to make this right?" So he did some research. He did a little shopping. Look at all the work he's doing. Maybe he's gardening, hammering. Look at all this stuff in the garden he's doing. Maybe it's for the bees. Getting some wildflower seed to plant some flowers. That's a good idea. Moving some stuff around. Getting rid of some trash. And he did a lot of work. Benedict even learned how to harvest honey. I suppose it's a bit rude to expect them to do it all themselves, he thought. He finally was ready to show the bees all the work he had done. What would they think? He held his breath as he waited. Then he heard the remarkably loud voice of the very small bee. "Wow. Drop the signs, girls. Time to get back to work." Look how beautiful it is in the garden in the yard. These days, Benedict is still a creature of habit. He still has his daily routine, but he doesn't take the honey for granted anymore. He knows his life is sweet, but now it's even sweeter for everyone.